Hello and welcome along to the West Yorkshire Football Show. We're here to give instant match reaction to Leeds United 3, Nottingham Forest 1 in the relegation battle. A huge game. Myself and Jay, we were on this morning on our Leeds latest show. We were talking about what a massive, massive game this was. Our dead mixture of nerves and excitement going to it. And we've come away with the 3 points, a vital 3 points. 29 points Leeds United sit on now. So important in so many ways. We can't describe how big of a result that is. The performance too. But Jay, we can breathe out now. We've done it. And, we talked about, obviously, West Ham are going to Burnley. Tomorrow they'll be favourites for that. And, the very worst now is it's as you were.
Yeah. The absolute worst. Well, it's not, because we're 3 points ahead of Forest, which we weren't.
Yeah.
So, and it was such a massive game, because we have got opportunities to get more points on the board between now and the end of the season. It takes us 3 closer to the magical total of whatever it'll be that keeps us up. We're 9 points clear. That's it. West Ham still have to go to Burnley and win tomorrow. Everybody's just assuming that they will. I don't think it's as much of a foregone conclusion. Burnley have basically got nothing to lose at this stage. Forest had everything to lose tonight, and we went and did the job. I think we've seen time and time again this season that this team are really good under pressure. They've not cracked. The Chelsea game, there were massive pressure. There's been other moments in this season where we've shown that we can deal with huge pressure, and they keep on showing up, keep on delivering. And, West Ham at home were another example of that, where we just showed up and we did what we needed to do. I'm so proud of the performance tonight. So impressed with so many individual performances, some of which I questioned. I'm not the Rain Man. I don't get everything right. I get a lot of things right, I think, and we'll talk about some of them tonight, because I do love to say I told you so. But Mr. Caldalo, some brilliant moments, and really, made some big saves while the game was 0-0 to keep us, level. But there's several others which I can't wait to get onto. And social media today has had a real calamity. And I know Twitter is a toxic nightmare at the best of times, but the Farker bashing pre-game to me was just unreal, to a manager that, we spoke about it on the show this morning, that's given us so much, achieved so much, achieving so much this season, given what he's got at his disposal. And he turns up and he gets his team to deliver that kind of performance with the likes of players that are, in terms of technical ability, below Elliot Anderson, Morgan Gibbs-White. Ilya Gruev puts in a man of the match performance tonight. You've got Jadon Bogle cutting in from right back to play centre forward. You've got Noah Okafor coming into the side and dropping a performance. You've got Brendan Aronson literally being kicked to death out there, and he's putting everything on the line for the team and the shirt. You don't do that for a manager that you don't fully believe in. And the team was just full of performances just like that. We wanted it more than them. We fought harder than them. We surpassed everything that I kind of thought were going to be expected tonight. I'm just going to stop there for a second and take it back. That's how I feel about it. I feel passionate about it tonight.
Yeah, I think you summed it up brilliantly there. Let's get some of your comments. Thanks for those. Keep them coming in. Get your likes on the video as well. Martin, this is going to be a pleasant hour. Gruev equals man of the match. Gavin Parry marching on together. Skip, well, I'm glad to have been proven wrong. That was a quality game, and huge credit to Farker and the squad. Man of the match for me was Gruev or Brendan. Johnny, what a game. Great assist by Gruev. And we do have to start, because I don't know what is in the water or something, but today, pre-game, social media was just awash with, Farker bashing, and when Gruev was named on the team sheet, that's like a stick that, for some reason, is
lightning rod.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. And then we get a performance like that. Coming into it, then, one of the eyebrow raisers for a few people, maybe less so us, was Buonanotte not being included in the matchday squad at all. There was no injury there, but I know some people, some content creators and people like saying he starts.
We mentioned it this morning, didn't we? It's mental. It's mental. It's nothing more than rage bait. in my opinion. I'll call it for what it is. I think it's pure rage bait. I don't think they believe it, really. I think if they're being dead honest, if they were to look at the team and pick a team for that game going into it, they're not starting Buonanotte. And, you know, I've been a little bit quick to judge him based on 5 minutes at the end of the Fulham game and then the Arsenal performance. I've admitted that. But what I've seen so far, I think he's miles off it. Miles off it. Because it's not that I expected him to take the game by the scruff of the neck or anything, but his positioning, his awareness, his first touch, all of them match sharpness things that you need are miles off it. And we've got 13 games left to go now. You can't be carrying someone. Would have been carrying Buonanotte in that game tonight. He would not have been able to deliver that. There's not a chance in hell. And, you know, Noah Okafor deserves a lot of credit for that as well, because he battled his ass off tonight and he played 80 minutes, made the difference. He had the quality, gets a goal, but it was his fight and his endeavour that really, you know, and I'm sure Buonanotte will be able to catch that up at some point, but he would have been an awful call. And I think you're right. I think it's fear. I think it's panic with a lot of fans. And I don't think, I've said this before, it sounds awful, but I don't think they're able of, like, putting the emotion aside. They're not able to strip out the emotion and just try and see things for what they are, matter of fact, with a little bit of logic. It's just all panic, panic, panic. We've seen that Farke's made a mistake once where he don't do this, and now we're just going to hold it against him forever. I've had the back and forward with Gav as long as this kind of channel's been, or as long as I've been on this channel. And I think even he's kind of converted over now. We are performing so well given what we've got. I really, really believe that.
I just don't know where we keep pulling these performances from, though, because, you know, you're looking at, again, I've done it so many times. I was looking at the starting lineup and I was like, where do the chances come from? How do we create things? How are we going to deal with what Forest have got to offer? You know, I'm really thinking that they were on a great run as well before. They were on a really good run, unbeaten run, winning streak, whatever. You know, it wasn't going to be an easy game. I think you could see it in the game as well. Technically on the ball, they've got better players than us. You know, I think that's obvious. But somehow, again, we've been able to overcome that. And it's the togetherness, the collective attitude, the work rate, and that those moments of quality. I think Okafor actually is a great place to start, because he drives me mad sometimes. And there's been a lot of, I mean, it was funny because the game today, he immediately did it. He got the ball immediately, kind of drove forward, kind of stepped over, but kind of looked like he was going to trip over the ball, and then hit across that, hit the first man. He thought, oh, he's going to have one of them games again, in and out. But absolutely credit to him. He never stopped. And like you say, the other side that he had that I've questioned sometimes is that intensity. And he played with intensity. He was getting stuck in, and he's great at kind of shielding the ball and like scooping it round. But you know, the way he touches it past players, it's really, you know, he has got that in him. He's got that ability. And I did think he was superb tonight. And, you know, he's capped it off with a goal. And look, that's what we need. We need blood from these players, basically.
No player can play really well all the time when they're a creative player. And this is why I've defended Brendan Aronson until I were blue in the face, because technically sometimes, you know, he gets caught short. Okafor's technically better, but sometimes things are not going to come off in the way that you want them to. But what you can always give is what Brendan gives, which is 110% and an absolute fight for everything. And that's what Noah Okafor did today. And yeah, there were some moments of quality, and yeah, he gets his goal. That's not what wins us that game. It's the fight and the desire and the determination to do whatever you need to do to keep the ball in Leeds possession or on us on top of the game. That's all that matters. We had complete control of that game for 80 minutes.
Yeah. We
lost a little bit in the last 10 to 15 extra added time or whatnot, but we could have scored another 2 in that second half. We totally dominated the game. They didn't have a shot until, I don't think it was 75th minute in that second half. No. So, you know, and that it comes from that. I'd love to see the distance cover today. It will be astronomical. They were to a man, every single one of them. Gabby, but Jaden on the other side. I thought James Justin was a monster performance. Yeah. I mean, Farke were getting grilled for that. 2 centre-backs on the bench, and yet he's starting to right back at centre-back. Just leave the manager to do the job. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
James Justin and Jaden Bogle have got a bit of synergy down that side. And because of the way that we kind of play with and it's in a wide centre back that turns into a right back. James Justin's actually the best at that because he's a full back.
Yeah.
So, and again, it blows my mind and makes me really mad because I just want to inject some intelligence into some of these people. People saw the team sheet tonight and went, "Oh, why is he being defensive?" No, what you mean is, why is he playing Ilya Gruev? That team tonight was attacking. We had James Justin as an overlapping third centre back. We had Noah Okafor up front instead of Brendan Aronson, which instantly made us basically go 2 up top. We had Brendan Aronson in the team. We had 2 anchor points of Ilya Gruev and Ethan Ampadu. The rest of the team was attacking because Gabby Goodmanson's not defensive. No. He's an attacking option.
Charging up straight away.
That was an attacking setup today, but the people say things just to get angry. Yet that was a really attacking goal from Daniel Farke. He had us 2-0 up at half time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're spot on. And Gruev, I mean, let's give the man his flowers. This guy, by the way, if you'd have looked at social media before, he was getting slated by what you've just mentioned. And that performance tonight, 2 assists, the way he breaks up play, the ground he covers, but quality on the ball. I mean, the first goal, Jay, where he just lobs it forward. Perfect pass. Okay. Perfect. Just rolls forward for Bogle and he can just tap it. Superb. Absolutely superb.
It's so perfect. It even allows Jayden Bogle to have 2 bounces of the ball before he even has to do anything with it. It's literally perfect. And I mean, go back and watch the second goal. The second goal's got bags of quality about it as well. He picks the ball out of the air on his right foot, which he's not really known for doing, kills it dead, and then picks an inch perfect pass for Calvert-Lewin. I mean, I think that finish is so smart. It's so smart because he could have gone for it with his head and it'd have been a bit more difficult. It just cushions it off his chest. It's perfect. Yeah. Ilya Gruev, I said this a few weeks ago, and people will think I'm mental when I'm saying it. He has got the game awareness and the intelligence of Andre Pirlo. He genuinely is. He's elite, very, very top level in here.
Yeah.
Technically, he's probably of a top-end League One, bottom-end Championship player. Yeah, but as together in a certain role under Daniel Farke in this system, he offers us so much. He's very clever, but people just see how clunky he looks and how slow he can look at time and just think he's crap. And Tanaka's better because he's better on the ball and he can score a worldie against Hull or Chelsea or whoever, Like that's what he was unreal tonight. And as we said, props to him, as you said, he added tonight some quality. He added some real quality to the rest of it.
The second goal, what I love about it is his composure. A lot of players, it's panic stations, isn't it? When they get the ball, edge of the area, opposition box, it's like, he kind of slowed everything down. Like you say, inch perfect ball through to Calvert-Lewin. And, you just wonder, I mean, he's only 25, is Gruev, I think. So he's probably not full peak Gruev. Is there potentially more to go in this guy? I mean, have we seen a little glimpse that actually he might be able to offer a bit more in that regard than we previously thought?
I mean, we both had him on the sell list, I think, didn't we? I'll definitely know more than the squad list in the summer, and he deserves all the credit. He's just not only reinvented himself, but he stepped up and he's worked his nuts off. People keep on saying over the last few weeks, Tanaka's not had enough game time to really get into the flow of the game. Nonsense. So before tonight, they both had the same amount of starts. I think there was 20 minutes between them in terms of minutes on the pitch. Ilya Gruev's come in and taken his chance. That's what Tanaka's had chances and not taken them. It's as simple as that. And Gruev has really, I think, improved our overall game. He allows different players to get into the game. There's a reason that Dortmund wanted him last summer, and thankfully now in hindsight we turned that down. I just think
he don't make mistakes, or does he? No, he doesn't make mistakes. And I mean, there was a really clever moment where it's just pure football IQ. Ball drops to him, the Forest player's right up against him, and he just kind of clips it with his left foot. Yeah. Really clever, and it just, and it's that kind of thing where you just like, that's just football, a bit of football IQ, and it's that kind of stuff that just keeps us ticking over. Doesn't make mistakes, doesn't get caught out in possession. Defensively, shows us up a bit, and like you say, it allows other players. to do.
He's a fighter as well. Like he's just dogged in there. Like, you know, they're all what tonight. But I'm telling you, Ethan Ampadu and Brendan alongside him will love playing with him.
Yeah.
They'll absolutely love playing with him. You know, Ethan can be a little bit more expressive when he's alongside Gruev. He can't do that when he's alongside Tanaka because Ampadu has to do it all.
Yeah.
He's too busy mopping up after Tanaka for Ampadu to really express himself. We'll get more out of Ethan when Gruev's there. I was wrong. I didn't think Gruev would play a minute of Premier League football, to be honest. I really didn't. I thought he'd be too limited. And his brain, his football IQ is elite, mate. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fascinating to see how he develops onwards. Like I say, mid-20s, you know, there may still yet be further development there. But please, can this quieten the noise a bit when we see Gruev on the team sheet next time against Chelsea, probably on Tuesday? Can we just like take a minute and go, oh yeah, he actually played really well against Forest and he's played really well since he's been back in the team.
He was man of the match by a long way.
He was my man of the match.
I think Brendan probably deserves a real good praising as well. I mean, so industrial, run his nuts off like he always does, but he was clever with certain touches. I mean, he was getting kicked all over the place. Sangare should have been sent off. I've watched it a few times. It was 100% a red card for me. He just gets frustrated and kicks him in the knee. It's as simple as that. It's a red card. Yeah. I thought Brendan linked play really well defensively. So important. You know, people were telling me that Bonanotte can do that job.
Yeah,
I didn't know. Yeah, they were excellent. But Gruev, in terms of an individual performance tonight, Gruev deserves all of the props. Give him them all because he deserves them all.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, a couple of weeks we'll have Stack back, but do you still foresee that it's going to be Gruev that keeps his place there? I mean, you can't really dislodge him at the minute, can you?
It's a tricky one, mate, because who do you then drop? Because you'd think Stack would come back in. We didn't miss him as much as what I thought we would tonight. I still think we'd have been even better with him in there. But what would you have done? You'd have probably ended up playing Brendan up front and then not having Okafor in there. And I think the two up front actually made a significant difference. Depends who you're playing. But don't think that because Stack wasn't playing that we didn't then see a more aggressive tactic. Because I truly think that Farke would have gone with Okafor up front today.
Yeah.
I think if he wanted to do what some people think he would have done today, he'd have started Brendan up front and gone Longstaff in the midfield.
Yeah.
But he did go quite aggressive and attacking. So I don't know, mate. It could be horses for courses. You know, the games that we've got coming up at home, Sunderland, Brighton, Brentford, Burnley, I can't remember all of them, but, you know, they're the kind of ideas of the games that we've got after this run of three tricky ones. I'd imagine that he'll probably go Metcher or Okafor, and then it'll be for Brendan, Gruev and Stack to battle out the two midfield positions alongside Ethan, I would guess.
Yeah, it's not bad. And, you know, we factor in tonight as well, Jay, that we were missing Stack. We're also missing B. He came in the bench, but he didn't start. I mean, you're talking probably our two of our highest quality players that we were missing.
100%.
You know, that weren't playing.
They're trying to now say that they were missing players. They were missing Nico Williams and Matt Sells, and there were another. There was Murillo at centre back. That's just football. Like, there's always players missing, normally anyway. So, can we just have a moment to talk about Stefan Ortega?
Yeah, yes. The signed goalkeeper there. His debut, wasn't it, for Forest? And first goal, it was a bit Perry-esque, actually. He just kind of did us running out to the ball. But yeah, a bit of not covered himself in glory.
People always want what they've not got. And they just, again, the casual fan just sees, oh, he's backup keeper for City and he played a lot of games in the Cup when they won the Cup, and oh, he must be really good. He's crap.
Yeah.
He's crap. And I said this morning, and I'm glad it didn't come back to bite me on the ass. He's just another bog standard bottom end goalkeeper that Lucas Perry's actually better than. And Caldalo showed tonight that he's probably better than him as well. I'm not a huge Caldalo fan, but tonight he deserves all the props. And I just hope he can keep switched on to the first team goalkeeper mentality. Yeah. And we'll talk about the Perry Darlow debate again in a bit, I'm sure. But, you know, you saw it tonight. And yeah, he's not been playing. I am telling you now, if you were to put it out to a poll to most of the social media fan base, they would have had Ortega sign in this window and they would have started him over Perry and Darlow. I'm telling you now. I'm willing to bet most of them, they might not admit it now, but in this chat, they would have said exactly the same thing. Crap. And this is why you've got to there's a reason that he signed on a 6-month deal, and there's a reason that he cost £500,000. Yeah, so when Leeds fans are saying, why didn't we make that signing only £500,000? Because he's crap. That's why.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And I thought Darlow did everything really solid and well tonight. I thought he had
brilliant.
He really looked the part, and it was calm and it was composed. His kicking was good. Yeah, it was good from Darlow tonight. Start of the first half then, Jeremy, Leeds had made a really fast start into the game. Forest then started knocking it about nicely, created a couple of openings. You thought, this is going to be an interesting kind of, how is this going to go? But again, like we did against West Ham at home, we just kind of ground out chances, start creating stuff, get the 2 goals. We're coasting at half-time. I mean, the third goal, Jeremy, in terms of just timing, because that's the key kind of scoreline. Is it 2-0? You get us to 2-1. It could very easily swing back. But to get that third at that time, straight after half-time, I mean, you just couldn't want any more, could you really?
No, and it was so deserved as well. We came out in the second half. We carried on the same level of fight. We got control of the game. We were on top. We score early on in that second half, and we actually carried on. It weren't that they then sat back. I think we sat back at about 75th minute when we started making a couple of different changes. And I didn't like it, but I understand it. They bring Luca on, who's 6'7", and they start just smashing balls towards him. What are you going to do as a team at that point when you're 3-0 up? You do retract into your own box and into your own half. So, and I think that's why Dan James came on. I think Dan James came on to then try and hit him on the counter and stretch the game. So, the manager, again, gets criticised for not reacting. Just because it didn't work doesn't mean he didn't react.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
A couple of instances where James nearly got away as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, there were. I thought he looked quite right when he came on.
He did, yeah. It looks like he's got a bit of that bounce back, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Dan James.
Yeah, but the third goal was massive. It really did kill the game as any sort of opportunity for us, really, to get back into it. But if you're a neutral, I mean, the lads were saying that the game were over in the first half. We're never going to be saying that because we're like, oh my God, don't say that. Like, because we know what it's like. But we've seen this story, Brownie, and I've said this to you many, many times on this stream. This team often under Daniel Farke is very comfortable once they get 2-0 up. Have we ever thrown away a 2-goal lead under Daniel Farke?
Can't think of anything, to be honest.
Maybe once. I don't think we've ever lost a game from that position. No. I'm almost certain that we haven't. He's very good at that. And tonight we actually built on it and scored the third. The game was very comfortable, if we're honest. It was very, very comfortable. And that is down to Farke, and it's down to the players as well. I mean, they were throwing the bodies on the line. They did everything necessary to keep them out, really, by one more.
And the Olays came out as well, didn't they? Like 60th minute, we were just knocking it about, and all the tricks and flicks were coming out, and it was party time. We could have scored a couple more at that point, absolutely.
Morgan White barely got a touch.
Well, it's fine. Yeah, because Gav mentioned there, Disu Dash pulled off.
Yeah, Elliot Anderson was quality in the early part of the game. And then started to involve himself more in the second half, but we kept him very, very quiet for large parts of the game, especially while we were on top. He couldn't get in the game. Dominguez gets pulled off, who we really like. They didn't get any joy out of Hudson-Odoi. We really limited them to anything. I didn't even see Igor Jesus. I didn't even see him. The first time I noticed the Nottingham Forest striker was when they brought Luca on. The one player that I'm really glad that didn't start, and he's caused us problems in the past, and he did again tonight, was Amari Hutchinson. Caused us problems at the Forest, at the City Ground away at Forest. Caused us problems for Ipswich when he was there as well. He's a nuisance. So I'm really glad that he didn't start. And if Forest go down, love us to see a signing. I really like him. I think it's class. But all their best players didn't get involved. Sangare couldn't control the game. Ethan boxed him off. The midfield, Brendan boxed him off. I mean, Brendan had him absolutely spewing, didn't he? I mean, we were all away, and that's when Sangare kicked out at him. Brendan is going to feel like he's been hit by a bus tomorrow. Poor lad, honestly. The referee offered him no protection whatsoever.
Didn't get anything, did he? Didn't get absolutely nothing. He was kicked all over the place. You mentioned him earlier, JJ, and Gav says here, Leicester fans were laughing at us paying 10 million for JJ. You know, when I watch James, I love how composed he is, how calm he is, his quality on the ball, his decision making. And you're looking at the price tag going, that is unreal business. That is absolutely unreal business for what he's brought since that Liverpool away game where he came in with barely any minutes under his belt. And he has just slotted in perfectly. He's played in massive games, Man United, Arsenal. You know, he's just done so well. And probably another reason why we can relax about the transfer window when you've got someone of that ilk that can come in, deliver like that. I mean, like you say, he's kept 2 centre-backs on the bench tonight.
Pound for pound, he's up there with one of the signings of the season. I mean, it's hard for us to have that conversation when we've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who were a free transfer, right? But it's been unreal since coming in. I think it was the Liverpool game that he really kind of staked a claim. He was brilliant, and he's been brilliant. He's not put a foot wrong, mate. Every performance he's had, whether it be at left back, right back, centre back, I cannot believe the level that we've got out of him. I always knew he was a solid fullback, but the way that Leicester fans spoke about him when he were leaving, and sure, maybe that shouldn't be the barometer, but we kind of thought that we'd got a busted flush, you know, after the injuries that he'd had and whatnot. I think he's been unreal, mate. Unreal. And I can totally understand why Farke likes that combination of him and Bogle on the right-hand side. They look like they really click.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I guess that's a question of, you know, Be-all once he returns to full fitness. That'll be a nice little dilemma, won't it? Because for me, Be-all, I want Be-all in this team. I'm not going to lie. I want him back in this team.
Again, maybe it's game by game, and maybe there is, you know, games where it both make sense, and maybe Be-all can play left of well, maybe Be-all can play instead of Pascal, and you play Rodon on the left and you play James Justin on the right. I don't know. And there's all sorts of posing questions, but it's good. You don't usually have such a conflict of positions for a centre back. It's usually the attackers that kind of couldn't stake a claim, but in our formation, the centre backs are massively important. And I'll be honest, I struggle to say against most teams, especially at home, how we replace that. Like, you can't drop James Justin after that performance. No, you just can't. No. Not on a performance basis. Like, if you could turn and said, look, you know, they've got X player up front that's going to play, you know, we play Chelsea on Tuesday. You know, let's just say, who plays up front for them now? João Pedro. I don't know. I dare say that you probably better go with what you've got rather than Be-all maybe. I don't know. This is a problem. This is a headache for Daniel Farke. Like, we can talk about it as fans, but it's a hard job dropping anybody from that tonight.
Yeah, and it kind of, not to flash forward too far, it's like, you know, when it does come to the summer and you're looking at players that you want to upgrade on, you can upgrade on players technically and stuff, but, you know, that other side of the game, the heart, the desire, the effort, experience, you know, maybe 3 or 4 big kind of additions, but not wholesale changes would be the way to go potentially, because I think, the performances of some of these players has been immense this season. And I think, you know, they giving their all for the cause.
This is definitely one for the summer. And, you know, we could go into this in real detail. It's not for a review. But, you know, when I think about it off the top of my head, I would instantly say a big chunk of money goes on the goalkeeper. Yeah. A big chunk of money goes on another striker alongside Calvert-Lewin. And then you could really be quite, you know, you could be quite loose on somewhere else. You could go and buy another creative force and improve on Brendan Aronson. You could go and spend big on another centre-back and replace Pascal Struijk. But there's a case to say that some of these can develop. And then we do have to find some PSI wiggle room as well. You know, if Pascal keeps on playing in the way that he has for the next 6 months, or the next 4 months, however long the season's left, right? He could be some serious coin for us. There'd be somebody willing to pay 20, 25, 30 million, maybe even for Pascal. With his age, his profile, his experience. And then we can go properly reinvest that in to make sure that we're growing and progressing as a team more than just the individual. You know, but that you're right. There's loads of kind of potential progression of these players. As much as I keep on saying that they're a bottom 5 side, I still think that's the case. I think the package together makes it what we're seeing at the minute. You do have to give them props as well for developing and pushing on as really great individual footballers.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like tonight again, we've deserved that. It's not a lucky win. We don't get lucky wins, by the way. Leeds never under Farker do not get lucky wins under Farker. We always deserve it. Getting back to tonight, then that second half, obviously, we're 3-0 up, we're coasting. A couple of changes happened. That last kind of 10, 15 minutes, it was kind of disappointing not to get the clean sheet, to be honest. What caused that in your mind? I thought we missed. I think and I totally get them subbing off because they'd run themselves into the ground. But like when Aronson, for me, Aronson is just an incredible outlet. When he's just on the ball, he drives forward, wins a free kick, or turns away, or turns back. When he's off the pitch and we don't have that, you can see the difference. You can absolutely see the difference. And plus he's pressing defensively as well. And Okafor off as well. Is that what kind of allowed them to kind of get to that situation? Or was it simply Morgan Gibbs came off as well? It's like, right, we're going direct. We're doing Dyche ball. We're going to get it in. We're going to get the giant on. And we're just going to see what we can do here. I mean, is that just, and look, we were 3-0 up. It's not a big deal. We were well protected. It's frustrating to concede a goal, but it is what it is, kind of thing. Look, we are a bottom 5 side, so you're not going to be perfect, are you?
I think there's a few things. I mean, first off, on Brendan, I think he's one of the first names on the team sheet. Yeah. I know he's my boy. I know I'm a backer of Brendan, but he is. I'd say after Ethan, Calvert-Lewin, and probably Gabby, I'd say he's the next man on the team sheet. I think he's vital. And I think the way that he's played this season, he's made himself a real mainstay in the 11. I didn't see that happening at the beginning of the season. No. Call it for what it is. This season, he's been exceptional. Creatively, he's absolutely brilliant. I mean, he won't get any props for the assist tonight because it's not on the tally chart. The pass to James Justin that leads to the second goal, it's all Brendan. It's clever. And yeah, what he gives us off the ball, out of possession, it's unmatched, and it gives Forest time to play an accurate pass. Whereas when Brendan's on the pitch, they don't get that. And against fans, they just overlook it because it's not a metric, or it's not like something that they can properly, tangibly kind of put on a piece of paper. But it's massive to the way that the team play, and that's why he plays. So yeah, maybe there were a little bit of that. I think when you're 3-0 down away from home, you've got nothing to lose, have you, at some point? Yeah. So the ball can start going in the direction that it did. I think the legs caught up with Leeds. We put such an effort in for the first 75, 80 minutes. I think they were just running on empty. I don't think Farker did anything wrong with the subs, if I'm honest. I think we killed the game in the right ways. We were smart. We were taking time with his goal kicks. The referee allowed it. That's on him. They get one good ball into the box, and a 6'7" striker who's good with his heads it in the net. Like it happened, like we're going to concede goals. It's unfortunate to concede, but there wasn't really much anybody could do about it. Would Beal have stopped that additive coming? Maybe. He's very good in the air, but still he's 6'7", and the way that the ball's coming in from that left foot cross from the right hand side is tricky. So I'm not going to hold any kind of hack towards what the team did later on in that game. We conceded one or two half chances. That was it. Really. Yeah. It was very similar to the West Ham goal. The West Ham goal. Yeah. It was actually exactly the same. If you remember, going back, Jared Bowen cuts in on his left foot, and it's flicked on by. It's very, very similar. So, and then in that game that we put such a monumental effort in, teams are going to score, right? So
yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Dan James back in the squad, Longstaff back in the squad now after injury concerns for them. Do we feel Tanaka and Nonto have been shuffled down the pack somewhat? Can you see limited game time for those two going forward?
I think Longstaff starting at this stage of the season with his experience makes so much sense. I think his physicality, his dependability just makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I think we've seen enough of Tanaka this season to know his limitations, and I like him. I still like him. I hope he develops. I hope he's here next season and progresses. The reality is he's 26, 27 now. I think he's going towards the second half of his 20s. He's probably not going to get much more up here. He's probably not. So there might be a case that we see him depart in the summer, and we take some well-needed profit on him. We barely spent anything on him either. So I'd imagine that Longstaff will probably fight it out with Stack, Gruev, Aronson for them two spots. And Nonto, I mean, How long have we been saying it, Brownie? How long? We've been talking about Nonto for what seems like forever now. He ain't it.
No.
And I'm not hating on the kid. He's still a young lad. He's still got loads of time to develop as well. But we don't really know what he brings. Fans have called for him to play more for so long without actually factoring in what he gives and what he doesn't give. His level of impact is minimal and has been minimal for 3 years.
Yeah.
If we're honest.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Just very quickly, I just want to touch on that. How has Aronson got to this level? Because he's better this year than he was in the Championship last year. And we praised him, thought he was decent in the Championship, but he didn't have all this sparkle in attack that he does this season. It's mega, isn't it, how he's developed this season? It's crazy.
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's confidence. I genuinely think it's confidence. I think he had a lot to rebuild on last season, and I think he got a lot of his confidence back, which was good to see. I think this season he's had some really difficult times early on in the season, and I think he hit a point with the fan base where he was like, you know what, I can only do what I can do. And I think it was Newcastle away probably was maybe a real turning point. Even though we lost that game, he was so good, scored 2 goals. He was literally like unreal that day. I think he's won the fans round, and that's then given him the impetus to carry on pushing. And he stopped. It looks to me he stopped worrying so much about making the wrong decision, which is making him make more right ones. It's wonderful to see, because I think he's a lovely lad, and any player that's prepared to give as much as Brendan Aronson is for the shirt deserves all of our support and respect. We gave it to Alan Smith for years and years and years because he was a Leeds boy, yet he scored next to no goals and gave next to no assists. Go and have a look. I'm not making that up. It's true. I bet the goal scoring tallies of Brendan Aronson and Alan Smith are not even that far apart. And Alan Smith was a striker. But we loved him because of what he gave.
Absolutely. I would love if he had a stellar, carries on as he has been performing and then has an amazing World Cup for America. I'm excited to see him actually play for the States in the World Cup. I think that'd be fantastic. Couple of comments here. CB, evening guys. Forest Feld, no problem. Born Leeds, Gruev. Absolutely. That's what it's all about, isn't it? That Gruev heat map. It's going to be quite popular this time.
Give me the heat map, please.
Give me the heat map. I demand the Gruev heat map.
I demand.
CB, I've got a mate who's a Forest fan. I bet him 20 quid we'd win 3-1. I'm not expecting to hear from him for a while. Still waiting for some comments in from Farker & Co. I've seen Daesh. He has, let's see what Daesh has said. Daesh said, we knew they would start quickly, weathered the early storm, had our best spell, but conceded such a poor goal, straight ball over the top, trying to play offside. Distances were wrong. Let's see if we've got Farke. He says he's really proud of the side tonight to bounce back from Saturday. He's not looking at the points gap to West Ham as much as the pleasing 29 points tally at this stage. Now, that should not be a underrated quality as well, the fact that we lost 4-0 at Ellen Road last week. And I think that could have given some teams the heebie-jeebies and maybe it would have dented confidence to roar back, with a 3-1 win in, a high-pressure game, really high-stakes stuff. I mean, it says everything. Like you say, though, Farke delivers in these moments. The team delivers in these moments.
He didn't worry me at all, if I'm honest. Outside of the first season under Farke, we've seen this bounce back. We've seen it time and time. We've seen it a lot this season. We got thumped 5-0 away at Arsenal. We then drew 0-0 against Newcastle the next week. It didn't matter. We, had the disappointment of losing 3-2 at City after clawing back into that game. We then went and beat Chelsea the next home game. A few days after that, it was like 3 or 4 days after that. We've seen it this season. They deal with disappointments. They're a very together bunch. I mean, outside of the Bielsa babes, I'm going to call them the Bielsa babes, I don't think we've ever seen a side as together as this. I saw people commenting on the fact that they run over to the subs, all the subs get involved. I saw at full time, Metcha congratulating Dominic Calvert-Lewin. There's no friction between the positions. They're all in it together. And don't underestimate the power of the manager in that. Managers nowadays, they are people managers more than they are tacticos. The tacticos, really, the coaches and everybody, they put it all together. The manager is the people manager that grows that feeling together. He deserves all the credit for the way that this team are playing together. And the fact, the reason that they're able to get so much more than their quality out of them as a together is because they are a team. I said tonight that Forest team 1-11 are way better than ours. Yeah. Way better. You know, we talked about the 1-11 this morning. I'd argue 8 Forest players would start in the 1-11. Yeah. And how are we then capable of being able to do that against them? Because the team is together, and together the sum of the parts makes it work. Gruev does his role to facilitate the other players being able to do their bits, you know. So when they don't look flashy and sexy, they're not doing what Elliot Anderson can do or Morgan Gibbs White can do. They're doing something that's bigger than that for the team.
Yeah, 100%. Some more comments from Dyche, actually. So he says, you can't then concede a second poor goal. They didn't find that edge again in the first half. The third kills you. 3-0 at any level is not easy. They deserved it, no question. The pleasing thing for us is, if there is such a thing, is our mentality late on. I mean, just looking, you know, at Forest, strange team, gone on a strange journey, you know, from the highs of last season, what they achieved under Nuno. Dyche, the third manager this season, doesn't seem like he's quite been able to bring it to heel, although obviously has got some really positive results for them. And it's nice to keep them in that bottom. You know, I let them and West Ham be the ones that really duke it out there at the bottom. But that, you know, if you're a Forest fan, by the way, I mean, I haven't checked for reaction from Forest fans, but you would be really perturbed by that, I would think, if you're a Forest fan, because I don't think they really laid the glove on us till later on, and you're thinking that is not great to go to a relegation rival and put in that kind of performance.
Yeah, no, you're right. I do think also that they are kind of dealing with the expectation of what they did last season. Yeah. Last season was a bit of a curse for Forest. Yeah. It really was, because it's give them a false sense of where they're at. They overachieved so massively last season that it's made people think, well, at worst, they should be a top 10 team. Yeah, they're a better team. They've got better individuals than us, but they're not a great team. They weren't a great team last season. They just managed to find a bit of a way of playing that kind of worked. Chris Wood was in unbelievable form, and all these kind of things just clicked in a certain way. A bit like when Leicester win the title. I know it's a different example, but that was a lightning in a bottle season, you know. Yeah. Ipswich, when they finished in the top 4 years ago and then they got relegated the season after, it's similar to that. So I think this team, while is a bit out of position, I think they're closer this season to where they should have been than they were last season.
Yeah,
you know, I think they're in that group with Palace and Spurs at the minute. I think they're in that same neck of the woods. So, you know, Dyche remember at the start of the season that they had as well. I mean, they were down there with Wolves, weren't they, early on in the season? I think they won the opening game and then lost the next 9 or something daft. They were on next to no points. So, yeah.
Maranaka's bullets, Dyche. I mean,
I don't think so, because I think...
I hope he does. It'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
More instability there, the better, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be cracking.
You know, because we're not going to do that. We're not going to, regardless of how the rest of this season go, we're not going to be the team that does that panic. But it'd be interesting to see if West Ham or Forest do, if at some point make a mad move for another manager to try and save this. Yeah. Palace are another one that could potentially do that, and because of the situation with Glasner, and it very rarely ends well. We saw our own version of that, didn't we? So.
Absolutely. Couple of comments more from Farker. So he says, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has ice on his left knee, but seems okay. Gruev cut on his face. Arison battered and bruised, but hopefully all of them are okay for Tuesday. On the Buonanotte decision, says that Dan James says that with Dan James coming back, he had to make a decision whether to go with Dan James and Nonto or Buonanotte, and Buonanotte didn't make the cut. So very interesting. I mean, what it says on the players are all battered and bruised. You can imagine it, can't you? They've been through hell to get those 3 points tonight, and yeah, just an amazing effort.
Yeah, and I mean, a huge benefit for us playing on the Friday night. You know, we get an extra day of recovery before Chelsea on the Tuesday. I think that's huge. I said that to you, did I? said Brendan's going to feel like he's been hit like a truck tonight. Like he really did go through it. He got kicked to the stomach. He got the kick to the knee. He was getting bundled over. He was getting stepped on. He really took some licks tonight. And I'm not surprised that there's others with knocks and bumps as well. But I'd imagine that Brendan and Calvert-Lewin especially will both play on Tuesday night if they at all can. Maybe Mecha could start against Chelsea. Maybe he could. Just to kind of give Calvert-Lewin a little bit of a break. We don't want to push him too much. We're aware of that. What else did you say in that comment? Who else was it?
I'm blanking.
Gruev put the knock to the face. I mean, I think Calvert-Lewin's boot that did that. I think
probably.
Just while you mentioned in comments, I just saw this from Paddy Power, which made me laugh. It says, unfortunately for Forest, Leeds United stayed at home this evening and Brazil 2002 World Cup winning side have shown up instead.
Brilliant.
Good on Paddy Power.
Fantastic. Matt, love to chat with you boys. Thank you very much, Matt. We really appreciate you joining us this evening. Guys, if you've not done already, please do like the video. Sure, we have a look at that league table, Jay. Let's do it. And I'm adding extra teams with not too far behind Brighton, 2 points behind Brighton. Brighton on a horrid run. One game in 11, Brighton, on a bit of a shocker themselves. We're on equal points now with Palace and Spurs. And I think Tottenham have got, is it Man City this week? I don't know. I'll have to check that out. We've caught them up, even if we've got they've got a game in hand. It's still something else, really.
Well, earlier on in the season when teams were saying, when fans were saying, we don't win, we've not won a game in X amount of games.
Yeah.
Teams do that all the time in the Premier League. They do it all the time.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody say earlier, and it really made me laugh, like, Farke always does this kind of thing when we're out of form. And I just replied and put, out of form equals losing against Arsenal. That's the out of form.
We won the game before that.
We've lost 2 games in 12, mate. And they were against Newcastle away and Arsenal at home. They're the 2 games. And bear in mind, during that period of time, we've played Liverpool twice, Chelsea, Manchester United. Who else did we not lose to in December? We played Fulham, we played Sunderland away, Brentford away, who have got 2 of the best away at home forms in the league. It's a nonsense. This whole notion is a nonsense. It's such a shame that we are so close to the bottom 3 in terms of position. That really skews a lot of the way that fans are feeling.
Yeah, it does.
But we're comfortably in front of the top 3.
Yeah, we are.
And we are one of the worst sides. And we're recently promoted. That none of them things can be looked over. So, Palace are right in it now, mate. They are right in it. And Spurs, they in it. I don't know. I still think Spurs are too good. Brighton, 1 win in 11, yes, sure, but they've still got 31 points on the board. They're probably going to pick up another 6 or 7 minimum in the next 13. West Ham have got a job on their hands, mate. They've got a real job on their hands now.
Yeah. How important was it to win tonight when you consider those fixtures coming up as well? I mean, a really difficult game against Chelsea Tuesday. I mean, I sent shivers down my spine playing Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Not happy with that one, but, you've got to play them there sometime. And obviously it's Man City, Villa as well coming up. We've got a nice little break in the FA Cup where I suppose that'll be Nonto and Tanaka will be able to get some game time there, give, Aronson and co break, which will be nice. But how important to re-establish this points gap, albeit with West Ham having a game in hand, but at the minimum keep it to that 6 points when you've got such a tough run. Because if you lose tonight and then you kind of don't do anything against those teams, you could very easily be neck and neck all of a sudden.
Well, it takes the pressure off, doesn't it? It takes the pressure off us, it knowing that, we realistically could lose the next 3 games.
Yeah,
we could. We're probably due a run of losses. It's the Premier League. It happens, right? And even if the absolute worst case scenario happened and we did lose all 3, and the worst case scenario happened that West Ham won all 3, which they won't, we'd still be in front of them.
Yeah,
that's pretty mega, really, when you think about it at this stage of the season. Now, West Ham are not going to win 3 games in a row, and I also don't think that we're going to lose 3 games in a row. I don't think this team are there at the minute. I think we'll probably create a banana skin or two against Villa and Chelsea. I think City at home, maybe that's a game that we can get. I don't know. But I don't see us losing the next 3 games. No. I would snap your hands off right now with 2 points.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it with chest. I would take you out, snap your hands off for 2 points right now. That would then keep us on 31 points against 28 games played.
Yeah.
Cool. We crushed it.
We're fine with that. We're happy with that. Absolutely. Just some of the other fixtures then. Obviously, we've mentioned West Ham at Burnley. Spurs are playing Manchester United away tomorrow. Rejuvenated Manchester United.
Up the Red Devils, said nobody
ever. Brighton have got that game against Palace as well, which now actually, when you look at the table, actually has a little bit more to it now, with both teams kind of circling the drain somewhat. So it's fascinating though, isn't it? It's nice to be able to sit back, start of the weekend, and know your boys have done the job. But quick turnaround, Jay, just to kind of talk about Chelsea before we wrap up. Difficult game. I mean, I think they've has Rossini won every game bar the cup competition, the Carabao Cup. I think he's won every game, hasn't he? Since he's
turned it round against West Ham, didn't they?
What do you make of that? I mean, they're a funny old team of Chelsea, aren't they? They've got so much quality and so many good players, but they're just that rung below the truly elite teams in the Premier League. It's a weird one. Chelsea away though at Stamford Bridge, it's a bit icky for me. I'm not expecting it. If you gave me a draw, I think I saw Gav put in the comments too, I would bite your hand off for a draw at Stamford Bridge. That would be ideal.
Chelsea and Villa, I'm taking anything I can get from there.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I think they're in a good moment at Chelsea. I do think they're there to be got at. I think defensively they're very fragile, but I do think they've looked good under Rossini. I quite like him, if I'm honest. I didn't really get it before, and I thought he underachieved at Hull, but since he's come over to Chelsea, I quite like a lot of what he's about. I like the way that he's approached it. I don't think he's looked overcome by the job and the role and the expectation and all that. I think he's kind of taken to it really, really well. Good to see an English manager do well, if I'm honest, even though it is at Chelsea. So yeah, I think we go there and stake us clean. We can do it without huge pressure on us back.
Yeah.
Can't we can go there and approach the game with confidence and knowledge that we're not in immediate desperate need for a win or anything like that. Not that I think that this team would panic with that anyway, but that's the way I think we can approach it. And I think we can get something. I think we can get something against pretty much every team in this division. I've said that all season, especially at Ellen Road. And I mean, just to mention Ellen Road just for a minute before we do move fully on to Chelsea, 19 wins, 3 draws, no losses under the lights under Daniel Farke.
Crazy record.
19 wins, 3 draws under the lights. That's
amazing. Every single game under the lights plays 8 o'clock kickoffs.
We'd win the league, mate.
We'd win the league. We would. We really would. Absolutely. Yeah, I know. Looking at those fixtures ahead as well. I mean, we got. So I mean, it's there for us, isn't it? I'm looking Brentford at home, Sunderland at home, Wolves at home, Burnley at home. I mean, there's at least, 10 points there. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to say we're home and hosed because you just can't, but I mean, it's set up very, very nicely for us to get this one over the line now.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, there'll be neutrals that'll say that we're safe. We're not. But I said to you this morning, we win this game, we basically got 1 foot in the Premier League next season, and I think that is the case. We would have to have a monumental balls up to go down from this position. I don't even think we need 10 points, but let's just say that we need 10. That's 10 points from 13 games, and we've got extremely winnable home games, and we are going to pick up points. We're a team that have lost 2 games in 12. And we've only lost to 2 very, very, very good sides. And we should have probably beaten Newcastle. Like, if we're being dead on it, we deserved at least a point from that game. So, we're going to pick up points. So it's funny because we're on the same points as Palace, but we're not in the same space as Palace. Palace have been sinking and have got big problems. Leeds United's trajectory since November, the end of November, has been extremely positive. So we're in a good place. And it genuinely does feel like it's ours to balls up now.
Yeah, and the way they perform and the way they're going about, performances are so strong. You can't see it, can you? You can't see it. Good stuff. Excellent. Right, we will leave it there. Thank you to everyone who's been involved and got your comments in. If you've not liked the video already, if you could please do that. Myself and Jay, we will be back for post-match, I think, for Chelsea. We'll get that one in there as well. I think we'll both be available for that. So please do check that out. Myself and Jay will be back post-Chelsea. Quick turnaround. It's like being back in the Championship, isn't it? But looking forward to a quick turnaround, another game to get to, and hopefully a little bit less pressure than there was on tonight's game. But fabulous result, great performance, sets up the weekend nicely. So just enjoy it, Leeds fans. I've been Stephen Brown. With me as ever, Jason Booker. Jason, thank you, mate.
Thank you, mate.
And we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.